Okay. So can you hear me, Jen?
Yep.
Okay then. Hello, everyone. Today we will be talking about AI in Oracle Analytics and looking at the journey from the traditional way of analytics that made use of SQL and how things are moving towards the use of intelligent agents through the use of AI. So just So the next slide. Yeah, I'll just give a brief introduction about myself. My name is Joel Acha. Currently, I'm an independent consultant. My entire career has been Oracle-based, and my area of specialization at the moment is analytics. And I have started looking at AI as well and how it impacts analytics. I'm an Oracle Ace Pro. I've been in the program for a number of years now, and I have there a couple of slides that just talk about the program, so I'll touch on that briefly. Okay. So I think at the beginning of the session, I think Oana mentioned that there are 500 plus members of the program, over 50 countries, and uh, we've got listed here a number of the benefits. I won't go into detail. I think Oana has mentioned and discussed this, and she can do a better job of discussing it than I can. There are just a number of the benefits here that are listed. So there are lots of benefits of being a member of this program. One of them I find personally is the interaction you get with the product management teams, as well as the networking events that it provides for you as well. So, and again, listed here the number of things as well, which are benefits to being part of the program. So I'll just quick look at what we'll be talking about. I'll be looking at AI and in the context of analytics, just a brief introduction, and just then we'll look at trying to understand the benefits of automation with AI in Oracle Analytics. Another thing we'll do is have a quick look at some of the features, the AI features within the Oracle Analytics platform, and then we'll look at some proof and evidence of the impact that AI is having on analytics. And something which I think is very important, which I think is not, spoken about as much as it should do, is the importance of semantic models within the whole AI aspect. If we do have time, we'll take some questions, but as things have gone so far, I think we might not have time. But again, if there's any questions, you can always reach out to me afterwards, and I'm happy to take those questions. So just to jump in, I think the whole point of this session is just to try and get an understanding of why AI matters to analytics and to understand why there's been that shift from the traditional way of doing things with SQL and automating that process with the use of AI. So that's kind of what we'll attempt to cover in this session. So the traditional approach has been, SQL based. You use SQL to write your queries to interrogate your data. And it's has been something that has been used and been useful. It's been used by organizations that have really established processes, but there is that gentle and slow move towards looking at how analytics can be delivered in an AI-driven approach. And there are a number of advantages of this approach, which you've got insights which can be automatically generated for you. So most of the time, people, when they're doing their analytics, they're doing it with a particular mindset. They're looking at things through a particular pair of glasses, for example. So you're looking at a certain piece of information and you're trying to look at how it relates to something else. But the advantage of an AI driven approach is that it can uncover insights that you're not really aware of. So it gives you a deep insight into the data. And this day and age, when organizations are looking at ways to, be competitive, have that competitive advantage, AI-driven analytics is one way that they can drive that approach. So I think, as I've mentioned, I think the way that things have been done previously is time consuming and it's labor intensive, and it's kind of dependent on a centralized team who have that technical knowledge and also have an understanding of the business data. And then the problem with that is that you have a centralized team that you're dependent on. But with the advent of modern analytics, which most of the time use AI-driven approach, things have become much more efficient and scalable in that you don't need technical experts to drive the analytics. You can use certain AI features which make it so much easier for you to be able to get to your insights without having to understand what tables, what subject areas and the rest you need to get to derive your data. So there are some benefits of looking at an AI-driven approach for your analytics. So just a very quick look at the evolution of analytics from I think the 1980s to around about the 2010s. That's when we had to make use of manual queries and static dashboards. And I can remember the very early days, well, I think a lot earlier than me. In those days, you'd used to see dashboards and reports that were built in SQL+. Now, I think things have kind of moved on in the 2010s. People, we've got this advent of modern analytics platforms, of which Oracle Analytics is one of them. And what these have been able to do is to kind of make it possible for self-service analytics to be a thing, where you're not dependent on a centralized technical team to deliver your dashboards and your reports and your visualizations. You can actually, self-service and do things yourself. Currently, with the advent of AI, it's making that even easier with the use of things like NLP, natural language processing, allowing people to use normal text to just write a query without having to write a single line of SQL. In the two previous sessions that we've seen today from Raja and Janice, you've seen how the Oracle Database 23 AI has this vector search capability, which is making it a lot easier to gain insights from unstructured data. So again, that's giving you access to. I think someone's going to. Okay, that's it. Yes. I thought that was a question.
I muted them. Yeah, sorry about that.
Yeah. So that's fine. So so we just move on. So yes, I think Janice and Raja, they've gone into a lot of detail about, I think the underlying technology behind the AI features within the Oracle database, which Oracle Analytics sits upon. So with the use of things like AI agents, again, this is another area of AI which has become very prominent the last couple of months. I think, yes, so Janice and Raja did mention as well, RAG. Again, that's something which is also of benefit to analytics, because in addition to your data that you have in your databases and your source systems, the use of RAG can allow you to combine information that you have, your enterprise data, combine that with information you get from an LLM, and it can kind of reduce the hallucinations that you get, and it can kind of, enrich the content you get. So again, this is another dimension to your analytics, where not only are you having access to analytics from your structured data in your data warehouse, you can also bring in unstructured data into the mix through the vectors, which we've seen in the previous sessions. And also, you can also bring in LLMs. And we'll have a quick look and to see how LLMs can be used within analytics to to improve and enrich the analytics experience for your end users. Okay, so so I think I've already touched on this in terms of how RAG can be used to enhance your analytics experience. I think what I did mention, I think which is very crucial, is that in addition to your structured data that you have in your data warehouse, or in these days maybe a data lakehouse, you can, in addition to bringing in your structured data for your analytics, you can also bring in unstructured data. So in an enterprise, most people have document stores with tons of information there. With the advent of vector searches and RAG, you can now bring that information into the mix, and that can only enrich and enhance the analytics that you can provide. So again, so looking at SQL, and the point I was trying to make about SQL is that there has been historically there's been a dependence on SQL, and what AI is doing is reducing that dependence. So you don't have to be a SQL expert if you want to be able to get information out from your systems. AI is making it a lot easier to get that done. There have been some discussions, that SQL is going to become redundant, and I don't think that's going to be the case. Because I don't think it's ever going to become obsolete, because it has its place. And I'll try and discuss that, a few slides time in terms of why I think that is the case. The main benefit for me in terms of AI is how it abstracts end users from, their data sources. So you can just use natural language, free text to make, to execute, your analytics. So that's one of the benefits that AI brings to analytics. We've got this whole thing about analytics being broken down into, I think, 3 main sections. One of them being governed analytics, the second being, the advanced analytics aspect, and then you've got the third aspect, which is the self-service. So what AI is doing is helping to improve this self-service aspect of analytics, where it's kind of democratizing, analytics, and making it available to more users. In the old days, what we really had was just the governed analytics aspect, where, as I've mentioned, you had a centralized team that built out your reports and dashboards, and you were dependent on them. Sometimes you could wait for months, before you could get anything back from them, and by the time you've got your dashboards and visualizations, that the time has passed for you to make that business decision. So AI, again, is reducing that lead time and giving users, more control on how they can deliver their analytics. In addition to the AI features that are now part of the Oracle Analytics platform, which we'll look at a few of them in a couple of minutes' time, there's also within OCI, the Oracle Cloud Infrastructure, there are a number of AI services which are available and accessible in the analytics platform. You've got OCI Vision, OCI Language, and OCI Data Science, to name but a few. Combining all of these with analytics just enhances the capabilities of the analytics that you can provide. So this kind of summarizes what we've kind of spoken about the last couple of minutes, where we've started off with being dependent on SQL to build out our reports in a traditional way. But I've just very quickly talked about the OCI AI services. So those give us access to unstructured data like pictures, images, videos, and text. So you can bring that into your analytics mix as well. Again, just improving, the insights that you can generate from your data. And I think what Oracle is trying to move towards, as we can see, is this thing called, I think a couple of weeks ago, I was at the Data Intelligence Summit here in London, and one of the things that was discussed there was how I think ultimately what the analytics team's looking to do is to get to a point where not only are we being able to automate the generation of these insights, but the next step is to have what they call, I think it's decision intelligence, where you can get the insights that you've generated and you've uncovered, you can get those to be acted upon in an automated fashion within your SaaS applications. So I think that's the next step in the journey, from how we've done things traditionally to where things I believe are going to go to. I won't talk too much about this because I think Janice went into a lot more detail about Oracle Select AI, which is a feature available in the 23 AI database. Again, it gives you the opportunity to use natural language to generate SQL. So you don't need to have any understanding of the databases and the tables and the structures and how things combine, in order to get data. You can just write your request and you can get information back very easily. So I've just highlighted a few features, AI features that are available in the analytics platform, and we'll have a quick look at a couple of them. So the AI assistant is under the hood. All it is a proprietary LLM that the Oracle Analytics team have developed, which allows you to type in a question and you should be able to get information back. So as I've said in the past, you don't need to understand how your data is structured. You just need to understand things from the business perspective, and you should be able to get some information back. I will try and just show you how this all works. You just have a data set, you just need some configuration just to set that data set up for access to the AI assistant. You just type in your question, and what it will do, it would convert that via the LLM to SQL, which is passed to the data source, and it comes back with a number of visualizations to try and answer the question that you've asked in natural language. Okay, so the next one I have is Contextual Insights. So this is another feature within the platform, which what it does is if you have a number of visualizations and there's a particular point in a visualization that you want to get some more information about, you can do what's called, you've got this explain selected option, which gives you some insights based on the context of the information that you've selected. So if there's a spike, for instance, and it's kind of not looking, it's kind of an outlier, for example, you can do some, use the Contextual Insights feature to drill into that, to try and understand what is driving that. And just have I think I've got a quick video just to show you what that does. So in this one here, you've got this bar chart. If there's a particular piece of information you're interested in, you right-click it, select the Explain Selected option. So what that will do is, within the context of that data you've selected, it would then try and detect some insights for that specific piece of information. The benefit of this is that it might take you some time to dig down, to drill down to find information, but this is all done for you automatically. And it gives you a number of different options for you to kind of get an understanding of what's driving that particular piece of information and to give you that, to give it its value. Another one is Auto Insights. So this is another feature. This has been around for a bit longer than the last two that we've looked at. again, one of the things that people have had issues with is when they're trying to do some analytics, when you start off with a blank page, you've got this thing called the blank canvas syndrome. You don't know where to start from. If you have a data set, you can just use this auto insights feature, which automatically generates a number of visualizations for you, and you can use that as a starting point for your whatever analysis that you're performing. So let's just try and run that very quickly. So the next slide is just a quick video. So if when you come into your canvas, you've got the auto insights feature, you've got, as I mentioned, you've got a number of visualizations which are automatically generated for you. Each one of those visualizations, you've got, it gives you some information about that particular visualization, and there are quite a number of them. And the other benefits of this is that you now have a lot more control in terms of what that can do. You can restrict the type of charts that are returned, the measures that are part of the auto insights and things like that. So a lot more control of that. So the last feature that we'll look at is this has just been introduced in the latest release, the March 2025 update of Oracle Analytics Cloud. I kind of call it Bring Your Own Model, where the AI assistant, when it was released a couple of months ago, it was Oracle provided that feature with their proprietary LLM, which you have no control over. Now you have the ability to bring in your own model. So if you have your own LLM, you can configure it, you can configure Oracle Analytics to use that within the AI assistant feature. So if you want to set up your own model, I think I've jumped a slide. So if you want to bring in your model, you just go within the console, in the large language model section of the console. You can just set up your LLM. It's very straightforward to do within this section. Once you've done that, it would use your LLM to perform the AI assistant functionality within Oracle Analytics Cloud. So I have mentioned the semantic model in a few slides ago. Now, I think this is a core feature of Oracle Analytics, and it really does have a place within the AI aspects of analytics and how things are moving. The main thing is that in terms of governance, in terms of security, in terms of a centralized place where you can, it's a catalog where you can define your business content and your logic. It's all centralized, and if you can control all of this within your semantic model, what this would ensure is that anything you're doing within within AI can be controlled through the semantic model. One of the concerns that people have with this with LLMs is this thing called hallucinations, where it kind of deviates from the truth somewhat. So if you can run your AI through your semantic model, you can kind of control what it does to some extent, because you've got the security aspect and the governance and the business logic defined within it. So I personally believe that the semantic model is an important aspect of Oracle Analytics within the wider concept or context of AI. So I'm just going to power through these. So I think these are all self-explanatory. There is an impact of AI in the aspects of architecture that you need to be aware of. I think Janice mentioned one of them being using vectors. You need to have more memory, so that there's a cost and storage as a result of that. So these are things that you need to be aware of. Also, you've got the impact of data storage, because when you're bringing in all these large objects, there's going to be a storage cost associated with that. I'm just going to skip through these. I'm just conscious of time. I think, as I'm sure these slides will be shared after this.
We're okay on time because we have a break after you.
Oh, right. Okay, good. Okay. So I think in terms of organizations and, looking at how, you can integrate AI into your analytics workflow, there are a number of things that you need to be conscious of. You need to be aware of, of accuracy, because I think I mentioned a couple of times in hallucinations. That's one thing that very people are concerned about. AI is just it's everywhere, and one of the places which I think is going to have a lot of impact is analytics. Giving more people access to analytics is only a good thing. I think for years people have been trying to democratize, the use of analytics, and AI is helping that, by just making it a lot easier for people to be able to run their analytics. And as a result, it should improve the user adoption of analytics across enterprises. I have a slide here which just has a number of statistics that I gathered, that just kind of prove, the evidence of how AI is impacting analytics. And it's everything is pointing towards the fact that AI is now a main part of analytics, and it's the main part of most other aspects of business and enterprises, unsurprisingly. So to finish off, I think just a few points I'd just like to make is, I think if you have the opportunities to just try some of these AI features, and you can just see how they can be beneficial for you in your space. Again, it would be good if you can engage with the community, you can get more information, like events like this, and, the user groups across, worldwide, where you can get access to these kind of presentations and more information as well. Stay informed. Oracle Analytics as far as I'm aware, in the past, I wouldn't say they were secretive, but now I think there's a lot more commitment from them in terms of what's on the roadmap. All of that is public knowledge, and there's lots of information on their websites, of what's coming, what things are in the pipeline, and you can provide feedback. They have a feature called Ideas Labs, where if there's something that you want in the product, you just put it as an idea, and you could see that in the product in the future. Okay, so just to round up, I think it's been mentioned, and these are just the social links for the Oracle ACE program. I think if you're interested in it, you can access any bits of information from the website ace.oracle.com, and you can get more information there. You can contact the Oracle the ACE management team as well by email if you want to, and it's worthwhile joining the LinkedIn group, which I think Owen has mentioned in the past as well. And on that note, I'll say thank you. That's just a link to my blog as well. So hope that was useful. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Joel.